Have you read the book Principles? I saw the interview. I think it was a Lex Friedman podcast, and I downloaded it, but I didn't have time to read it. It's in my queue. I have a queue more than 60 books long to read. And I'm like, ah, I wish there was more time. This is why I'm so interested in accelerated learning, because I'd like to be able to read like 5 books a week, but I can only read one. And people give me more books than I have time for. Thanks for your answer, Charles. It's also frustrating that such powerful hardware like the new M1 chip PCs will be so hard to get open sourced OSs due to the proprietary politics of Apple. Adam, that's actually a huge concern. There was a lot of value with the Wintel monopoly in that the separation of the hardware maker from the software maker meant that the hardware maker's incentive was to get the hardware to work on as many platforms as possible to maximize sales. The vertical integration of this means that the hardware should only work on one OS. That's really tricky, and that's bad. And actually, I hadn't thought of it until you mentioned it, but yeah, that's a huge problem. A lot of MacBooks run Linux operating systems, and if the M1 doesn't play nice, that's going to be super hard. And we could run into some sort of weird ass black room and black box engineering of drivers and things like that. It's not even clear to me how you would do that with the M1. The problem with the M1, for those of you who don't know, is it's everything together. So normally a CPU, a GPU, memory controller, memory, and other logic, they tend to be separated. And then over time, what's happened is more things have gotten into the CPU. So they put the memory controller into the CPU instead of having a North bridge. And then they said, oh, well, let's start putting some ASICs in that do image processing and so forth. And then AMD had AMD Fusion. They said, let's put the GPU into the chip. What M1's done is they've taken all of that and said, we want that, but we'll put Wi-Fi in and Bluetooth in, but we're also going to put in the memory into the chip package as well. So the M1 has everything all in one chip, and it's super damn efficient, and it's just crazy fast, and it's super smart, the Apple Silicon. And they're actually gaining instead of slowing down in their lead, and it's very energy efficient. Copy the big little core architecture that Qualcomm and others have made so popular. I guess ARM in general made popular, where you have different processing cores. Some are lower efficiency and do less, but they use considerably less power. So that's the little, and some are for high performance tasks, and you have sets of them. So it's a great chip, but proprietary, and that's a problem for the industry.